Welcome back to Regular Guys Outdoors. I'm Chris. We're continuing on with Turkey Trippin 2022. We're still in Alabama, and it's opening day on public land. Cutoff time is at 1300 or 1 p.m., which is fine because I've got to get up to Tennessee for their opener the next day. Starts off with a pretty slow morning, nothing gobbling right on the limb, at least where I'm at. Crows are up. I really prefer for them to gobble naturally. From the looks of things down there in the creek, we're not going to be playing a whole lot of creek crossing games today. Got a nice drainage here. Falls off into a hole. And then re-emerges down here. Kinda neat. So I'm kinda looping around the hill and along the creek, getting about to where I went up. And I swore I just heard a really distant gobble. But I can't swear as to its location. So I'm going to continue to move along the creek a few hundred yards, sit down, and hopefully it'll fire off another one if that indeed was a gobble. Alright, that was 100% a gobble. That way. It actually answered my call. Question is, do I stay put? He wasn't real close. I prefer to close a little ground on him. He's also most likely across the creek. This wouldn't be a bad place to fall back to if he goes quiet on me. But I think I'm going to take advantage of these wet leaves right now. Just slip up here a little bit. This big pine up here is where I was sitting this morning for a couple hours. He went silent. That always makes me nervous. I feel like that means he's moving my way. I'm gonna go back to this fallback spot. I got a little bit better visibility and a little better concealment back here. We'll just get here and be still. If he pops over this hill, he's about in range. As soon as he pops over. No, I just heard him again. He's still way out there. Okay. That was the second gobble. Okay. I'm gonna close some ground. I can hear him still. He appears to be in line with a high point over there, like a hilltop. Wonder if he's just up there, gobbling and spinning. It's about that time of day. It's about 10:45. Question is, how do I get to him? he's on the other side of that creek. He's not that far away. He sounds like he's coming down off that hill. Yeah, he's up on that hill somewhere. Always liking that. It sounds like he's closer. He's at least facing me. Not that far. There's a ridge in front of me. It sounds like he's right there on it. I'm just wondering if I get him come down the hill. He's liking what I'm giving. I don't know if he's going to move from his spot. He's got such a good spot. I may just have to sit here a while and try to break him. Get him to commit. He sounds close. There is a creek between us. That's very loud. I'm going to turn you off for now. He is right here. Holy smokes, baby. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. I didn't know where he was for a long time. And I just gobbled, or I called, and he gobbled. Sounded like he was on top of me. Practically is. That was a bottom barrel bird. Bottom barrel bird. Oh, my legs are weak. My legs are weak. Holy crap, how do I get over there? Right here. Oh, I gotta compose myself. We got one. We got another one down. I'm going to take a moment, see if we can't maybe get across this a little bit safely. He's not going anywhere. That was a gobbler. I might be able to get through right there if it's not slick. I'm not going to take my gun. This doesn't look like it should be bad at all. In fact, quite the opposite. So long as it's not slick. Oh, it's not slick. We're grabbing all our gear. I want to get a picture of the spot of right where we got them. That's where I want to take my photo from. I'll tell you what. I slowly peeked around the edge from between those trees, and I could see him through the brush. He was kind of doing a half strut walk thing. There is a fine Alabama bird right there. Oh my word. He's got some pinky pearly spurs. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure he doesn't get me. Look at those spurs. Real nice spurs. Look at that beard. Oh, that's a thick one up here. Look at that. That's got to be almost an inch thick. Front to back. That's a nice beard. So a little bit shaky there. Oh my word. He was up somewhere up here. Almost seemed like he was running this ridge up and down. Maybe he was on a high piece behind it at first. I don't think he was just up this draw where it's green up in there. But he could have been. At one point, I swear he was up here. And I saw a stump up there that looked like him. Looked like a turkey standing there, peeking down into here where he's hearing the calls. But I was back in this stuff, and I knew it was thick enough that he would have to come look for me if he was going to look at all. He was just going to stay there and be stubborn, but I was planning to stay there for a long time. And I was between these two trees right here, and I was behind the big one. When I peeked out from the left side, my right as I was looking, left side as we're looking right now, I saw him through this brush right over here. And so I had to pull my gun back, turn on my head cam, turn on the gun cam, turn on this cam, because at the time I didn't have anything running. I just made a call. I was calling behind me, so it would sound like I'm maybe a little further back in there versus being right here. And when I called, he hammered it, and he was only right here. So from here to the tree is 24 yards. That's pert near on top of you when you got a turkey looking for you. Oh my word. I don't know what else to say. I need to think about what I'm doing here. I'm gonna get me some photos, that's for sure. Well, I think I'm just going to take a moment here and we're just going to spend a little time together here. Appreciate the moment. Oh man, that sun makes him pop. Just going to take this in for a few minutes before he gets to kicking my butt, dragging me out of here. I'm not far from the car, but I'm not that close either. I don't know what the sound sounds like with the creek right behind me. Tell you what, Alabama's been real good to me. Real good, can't complain about that at all. Man, there's some beautiful feathers down here. Man. When I called and he gobbled from right over here, I about crapped myself. He got down here pretty quick. Like I said, I thought at one point he was up here. Could be the echo in here maybe, I don't know. Tell you what, it went from about 0 to 100. So straight line distance from where I first heard him to right here is 410 yards. Now it's also around a bend in the terrain. So there's a roll of hill between us, all this creek noise, and I heard him at 410. Closed the distance and then heard him for sure. Moved up closer. But I better start to walking. I'm probably going to have just over a mile by the time I zigzag my way out of here. I got to work around a piece of public land. I got to get back across the creek. Yada, yada, yada. Better start drinking water too if that sun's going to come out. Man. What a bird, what a bird, what a bird. So there's Blaze in the distance. All right, I hope this comes out all right. We're gonna go ahead and get the weight on this bad boy. Zero him out. Ooh. $19.9. 19 pounds, 9 ounce. Can't complain about that. Get a vacuum sealer. I had to buy a new one because the other one had no vacuum. It would seal a bag but not vacuum it, which kind of makes it worthless. Makes it more worthless than a Ziploc. A Ziploc, at least I can use my mouth and suck the air out. Sorry for that beeping in the background. My key's in the ignition, trying to give my portable batteries a little bit of a charge. So this year in Alabama was awesome. Got a bird on each of the opening days, the private land and the public land. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, give us that thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button down there. And 92% of y'all watching this are not subscribers. Go ahead and subscribe. It doesn't cost you a thing. Thanks for watching.